Okay, Mr. Vice Chairman, the time is now 6:01, and we do have a quorum. We can begin the meeting.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Good evening, everybody. I'll call to order the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting for Thursday, August 17th. We'll start with roll call. Joey? Here. Stephanie? Here. Allison?
Here.
Jason? Here. And absent are both Scott and Morgan. Item 2, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item number 3, approval of the meeting agenda. I do have one item to move, which I will take a motion on, item 9D to new business B, and any other changes anyone sees necessary.
All right, motion to move 9D to new business B.
Motion by Joey,
Second.
second by Jason, all approved?
Aye.
Aye.
Any against? That's unanimous. Item number 4, approval of the past meeting minutes.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 15th, 2023 meeting.
Motion by Jason,
I'll second.
was it Allison? Second by Allison. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Tom, do we have any public comment?
No, we do not have public comment.
I wish.
That would have been good. Item number 6, committee reports. Start with Hopewell Baseball.
I can talk about Hopewell baseball since Scott's not here this evening. Hopewell completed their fall evaluations on Sunday. I spoke to HYA representatives this week, and they are in the process of doing their drafts and forming teams, and I'm awaiting their final practice schedule for week 1. So all looks well on the baseball front.
Great. Thank you, Thomas. Lacrosse. Allison, Jason, Joey.
The feedback I have is that the program's very happy with all their field space, so that's great. And that's really it.
Yeah, things are about to kick off here in the next week or two.
Yeah.
So no questions or issues
Joey?
next week, I guess.
I don't really have anything directly, except for I'm sure that Tim has probably contacted you guys about the length of grass at Northwestern.
It's already been taken care of.
Perfect. That was it.
All right. NAFL football, Stephanie?
Yes, I chatted with Vaughn today. The season is underway. Week 1 games start this Saturday. They have grown significantly in numbers. They had about 600 kids last year. They have 700 this year. Cheer set another record with 159 girls, 300 flag players, and tackle grew to 240, 12 teams this year versus 10 last year. So it's awesome.
Good.
Great.
Good update. Thanks, Stephanie. Basketball, Jason?
No, things are going okay. Kim has had his outreach for coaches again. So we started to do that and just starting to prep for the winter.
Does he have enough capacity?
I think whatever capacity we give him, he'll fill.
Oh, yeah.
We had that discussion yesterday, and I think we're going to be fine.
Good.
We're going to be fine. We're looking at new ways to fill the gyms with teams that are a little more efficient to allow for that expansion without having teams practice too late at night. So
Good.
there's already a game plan in place for that.
That's great. Morgan's not here, but staff, does anyone have an update on swim and tennis?
We probably won't have a swim team update for several months.
Yeah, no report there.
Thomas, do you have anything for tennis?
Tennis, pretty much the same report as always. I'm expecting numbers from the summer program shortly from Terry. I spoke to him today, and I imagine he's already preparing for the fall, and he'll be at capacity as usual. So continuing to put on a great program over there. It's getting to sleep a lot. I don't know.
Great. Thomas, while you got the mic, any update on arts and adult programming? Well, actually, I guess it's one and one. Yeah.
Yeah, so right now we're kind of in the stages of the fall programs going on. So we have the Tai Chi, like the Bombay Jam, stretch classes, dance classes as well too, also art. So they're all beginning, like most of them are beginning next week or the week after. I will say we do have a program coming up in September with the Love Go-Go program. So in summertime, they did a class with a sloth. In September, they're going to do a class with some penguins. So that'll be on the 16th of next month on that Saturday. So if you have no plans, if you want to sign up, go. I feel like it'd be a really good opportunity. I will say registration so far has been very high so far for that. So if we wait too long, then there might not be no more spots available. So, but that's all I got for me.
Yeah, I'll touch on Rush Union, our adult soccer program. They were very patient in waiting for the field allocation for the fall to be set so they could open their registration. I'm happy to say that Rush, we were able to get them their normal time slots at Legacy Park, in addition to all our youth programs. They recently opened registration for the fall season within the week, and they will kick it off Monday, September 11th for their fall season. And then we've got our adult petanque program that will be offering their Tuesday, Thursday beginner classes for the fall season, and they begin the first week of September.
That's right here in the parking lot, right?
It used to be over here. Now it's in the back of Bell parking lot.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
Bell
right.
Memorial Park.
All right, great. Thank you. Any update on summer camps?
No report for Camp Joyful Souls other than we're buttoning up some finance stuff on the city side, but great summer. So
Yeah, so since I wasn't here in the last meeting, I'll kind of talk about the first year summer camp that we had. We had 319 total kids for all 7 weeks total. We also sent out surveys to all the parents just to kind of get some feedback, some ideas, and I'll say 95% of the feedback was very positive. They were very happy of how it was a first year camp and how successful it was. So potentially we have a really good foundation, and we're definitely excited for next year.
Good. Great. Good update. All right, that takes care of item 6. We'll move on to item 7, unfinished business. 7A, discontinuation of annual workshops with program providers. Discussion.
Me, him?
Yes, annual workshops with our program partners. Tom and I actually sat down this week and I guess designed a rough sketch of what we anticipate for 2024, and that's bringing in multiple programs each month, just to give us an update, express their needs, what they look for in the future, and just give us an overall update so we're a little more have a little more face-to-face with our program partners. As you know, our non-athletics are expanding with new programs, so it'll be nice to see those folks again and hear how their first 6 months to a year has gone, and we'll hear from our more familiar faces from the athletic side. So
Yeah, it's an opportunity for them to come in and share the challenges they're dealing with now, the successes that they're going through, what they need over the next year, right? Help from the city, what they need 5 years from now, what they project they're going to be needing. That would help staff and really the Parks and Rec Board as a whole kind of understand where we're at with all of our programs. And so rather than doing what we have historically done in February and just tried to do that whole everything in one night, we thought about breaking it up into multiple meetings where we would kind of break out, do a workshop with them. It would be more of a back and forth discussion, not necessarily a presentation with comments and feedback. It would be just a conversation, period, discussion back and forth.
Tom, is that going to be staff driven or is that going to be part of the Parks and Rec Board?
Or it
Oh,
would be,
it
it
will.
would be during a meeting.
Oh, okay, okay.
They would come up and it would just be a free flowing workshop.
Gotcha.
So,
And we'll stagger
And
the
is the-
providers over time.
we've got a preliminary schedule that we put together. That's not in the presentation, but it's got, pull it up here. Like January would be football. This is just a proposed, but football, January, we're trying to schedule things away from, some of our programs have very heavy programmatic months that we're trying to avoid. So we're trying to hit them maybe before registrations, well before registration and kind of their slower periods where it makes sense for them to have a night to come on in here. February, swim team. March, our arts program, the Kid Create program, and mindfulness. April would be photography and Tai Chi. And if you see a theme here, we're trying to bunch the smaller programs together, and then the big
Yeah.
ones, they have their own night. May would be the Bollywood Zumba and stretch and boot camp. June could be our lacrosse, youth lacrosse. July, tennis. August, basketball. September could be our adult rush union program for soccer. October, petanque. November, Hopewell baseball. And December, rhythm and shoes. So we kind of break it up. And
December
then,
was what? Sorry. What was December?
rhythm and shoes, dance.
Oh,
Dance.
Does that give you enough time to respond? If we stretch it out that far, does it give staff enough time to, I guess, act on their feedback?
Yeah.
It does. Okay.
Most certainly. It's more of a check-in opportunity for the programs,
Yeah.
more than anything else.
It's the
I like
hallway
it.
over here.
What were you going to say, Jason?
I like it. I think it's great.
Want to
You
watch
just
out
want to
is-
make sure you don't have a conflict with whoever season is in during that month.
You might want to move like lacrosse to August because June for
Yeah, June's gonna be
travel,
tough.
like
Yeah.
nobody's here. But we, and we can,
That's not really our program though either.
well, right, that's true. Right.
But we can shift things around. Is there a better month for lacrosse?
I would argue August is a better.
Yeah,
month.
they're probably gonna get there.
August.
August. You're starting.
But if there's
their
anything
fall
if there's
program.
anything they need for the fall
right,
Fall
right,
season,
right.
season.
Oh, I suppose.
that's why we put
okay.
it in June.
Oh,
Yeah, good point.
You probably, May would actually be better because you're done, we're the third week of May. It would be before the summer started and after the spring ends.
Okay. I just made the swap.
Good.
So we could entertain, if there's no other discussion, we can entertain a motion for the schedule as discussed.
Okay. I'll take a motion for the workshop proposed with the program providers.
I will make a motion to move forward with the proposed schedule for the program providers over the course of 2024.
Motion by Jason,
I'll second that.
second by Allison. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. All right, 7B, presentation of the Wall of Fame 2023 ballot.
Yes, so I appreciate everyone getting their ballots in. We had 13 representatives on the ballot this year, and of those 13, we have 5 going on the Wall of Fame for 2023. And I have contacted the folks that nominated these people, and they have contacted, I gave them, first opportunity to break the good news to the folks that they nominated. So going on the wall in 2023 this year in October is Kyle Farnsworth, Dylan Cease, Bridget Dehan, Les Kuykendall, and Corinne Mueller.
That's great.
Awesome.
And I think we determined October 29th is going to be the initial ceremony day at Bell Memorial Park. And if weather plays a factor, we'll push it to November 4th. Is that what it is?
October 28th.
It's 28th?
That's a
Excuse me.
Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then November 4th would be our inclement weather day. Because we're still in season, so.
Yep.
The park will still be hopping.
Did the process go smooth this year?
I think we're a month ahead of where we've been. Yeah, it was smooth.
Can you,
It went
any
well.
tweaks, or is this, we're good?
I think the format was much better,
Yeah.
having
I-
the same criteria across each person.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
For the purposes of this meeting, I think.
Yep.
It was smooth. It was smooth. Everything came in on time. We got it turned around. And,
You know, every year though, I forget whether we're supposed to go 10 to 1 or 1 to 10. So I'm just, every year I stare at it.
yeah. We are going to make some changes to the ballot for
Okay.
next year. We're going to make 2 changes that are going to make it easier for you.
Yeah.
We're going to list off all the nominees just in a list on the first page without all the descriptions. So just a little graph, a little chart,
Yeah.
and you can put the numbers in there. And then we're going to have the long descriptions below it.
Okay.
So then it's easier for you to see, okay, what number am I on now? You know?
Right.
And then we can make it very clear on the top. 14 is your top person, 1 is your bottom, or
Got
something
it.
like that.
Process improvement.
Outside of that, it was smooth. Yes.
Good.
I encourage everyone, mark their calendars, October 28th. If you haven't been to the ceremony, it really is a nice opportunity, particularly for Parks and Rec to be there. It's a great moment. It's a good, and Tom and the mayor do a nice job, and obviously seeing the inductees is,
I think every year lacrosse has been in a tournament.
Yeah, we're,
Sounds like you said Bridget Dehan, that's a
Yeah.
lacrosse girl. Yeah.
Yes, she is, I think.
all right. Moving on to new business. Item 8A. Discussion of community-led effort for a free little library at Bell Memorial.
Just give me just a second here.
Oh.
All right. I had a member of the community just email me, and she has an interest in giving back and is an avid reader herself. She is a neighbor of Bell Memorial Park. She lives less than a mile from the park. And she made the proposal of building, constructing, doing everything to have a free little library at the park. The concept of a free little library, if you're not familiar, we do have one at Broadwell Pavilion, is, take a book, leave a book, essentially. It's a community-led effort, and, if someone sees a book they want to take, you can go ahead and take it. And the community is also responsible for keeping it full, At Broadwell Pavilion, I will say we have had really no issues out there. I had to pull one book, and it wasn't because it was ridiculously bad. It just probably wasn't appropriate to have in a park. But outside of that, it's been fine. Every time I'm at that park, I open that door and I look and see what's in it, just to see. And over the several years that it's been there, I've only had one book, and it was Hannibal. So it was a novel. It wasn't like crazy, but yeah. And so she's willing to put it in, maintain it. And we haven't really identified the exact location, assuming, this board would be, approving of the idea. But these are kind of some concepts. She wanted to do kind of a barn theme for this free little library. So these were some that she pulled off the internet that she liked. There's also some kind of pre-made ones that you can get off the internet that are kind of ready to go. You just drop it in the ground. So she hasn't decided, and I haven't decided what the best fit is. I don't particularly have a preference as long as it looks nice and has the proper construction to withstand the elements outside. That's really my biggest thing. I don't want a maintenance nightmare out there. So, and she's aware. And actually, Jen sat in the meeting with me, and I think she got the idea. And but yeah, she's just it's not a Girl Scout thing or anything. It's just a member of the community that wants to do something nice for the park. We did kind of think maybe somewhere along the entranceway as you're walking in, maybe a little bit past the Wall of Fame or the Wall of Champions might be a spot for it. But, you know, we haven't really gotten too deep into locations. I guess I could take suggestions for locations in here, unless the board doesn't like the idea of having it at Bell. But Bell's kind of the location she wanted to do it at because it's near her home.
The other thing I thought is that over by the wall, there's the swing and there's a bench over there. Before the wall was put up, I think it was really designed as a little sitting area, and there's still that space. That might be a place, right? Pick up the book and go sit on the little, it's not a swing, but it's a swing of some sort.
Yeah, in the meeting, we had talked about it being an option for the littles when they're tired on the playground. Have parents read a book.
Yeah, so having it over there is
Mhm.
better than the pavilion side. She can put up two, one in each place.
It's ambitious, very ambitious. Welcome to Milton.
That's right. Now you got two.
Any other questions, comments?
I think it's a great idea.
Stephanie, anything? Charlie?
Love it.
You need a motion on that, Tom? I'll
Please.
accept a motion to approve the Little Free Library in Bell Memorial.
I'll make a motion to approve the Little Free Library at Bell Memorial Park.
Motion by Stephanie,
I will second that.
second by Allison. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Here's a picture of that pre-made one. I actually had it
Yeah.
on the slide. So
Hmm.
and it's composite, so it's essentially all plastic. It would last.
Probably
Perfect.
better, right? Yeah.
Item 8B, discussion on outdoor recreation community survey.
Thank you, Tom.
Danielle?
Yeah, you can move forward on the slides.
You got a keyboard there too if you need.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. All right, so in June 14th, our survey went live. Last meeting that we had, we talked about the survey and I let you look it over. And then I pulled the data right before our last meeting. That was canceled due to the storm. Yeah, so there could be more updated information, but what you're going to see in front of you is from last month. So a couple of the key questions that I pulled out of there, I thought would be valuable information for you. And then at the end, we did a SWOT analysis to kind of better understand what direction we want to take and give you a clearer vision of what it could look like to have outdoor programming. So the first slide indicates the top 5 parks that people visit. So something that stood out to me was how close Birmingham, Providence, and Bell Memorial are, given that Bell Memorial is hopping. So that tells me, I'm going to make the assumption that folks that took this survey really took it with the outdoor rec mindset, that they were looking for outdoor programming. And then the next question was, what are your favorite activities? What are you already doing? Whether you're doing it on your own or you're doing it with a group of people or it's led by an organization. And as you can see at the bottom, using your feet and your legs is pretty common, and we have a lot of great trails here. But some other things that stood out were fishing, biking, gardening, and then some more athletics, pickleball, tennis. This question about where do you do this activity most often was really geared towards figuring out, are people utilizing their parks to do the activities that they say they like to do? Are they using the Milton parks? Are they using the Milton park that's closest to their house? Are they doing this in their own backyard or neighborhood? or are they doing it in a park outside of the city of Milton? The highest number, as you can see below, was a park outside of Milton, and then people had commented below. I pulled the comments, 43 of them were neighboring city parks that people were utilizing. Some of them were coming. Mostly it was Wills Park and the Greenway. All right, so this was more trying to gauge what people would like to do in their community if we were to bring it here or provide that service. As you can see, hiking still top on the line, but also boating, biking, fishing. Those ended up being top on the list as well. And we have a lot of bikers outside of here right now. But then if you look at the like last 3, horseback riding, as we imagine, we do have a park that's designated typically for horses, but outdoor photography, painting, and then bird watching, which could also fall in line with day hiking. So guided hikes was not a question, but I would put that under a guided hike. All right, so taking all that data from those 256 responses, Tom and I kind of sat down and thought about what do we have to work with currently? What are some things that might be barriers for us? And then what are opportunities for the future that we can utilize? So at any point, feel free to stop me and ask questions if you want. So definitely our acreage is a benefit for us in Milton, and our green spaces have really pushed that forward to provide space for people to hike and do the things that they love doing in the outdoors. We do have bodies of water. They're kind of hidden and tucked away, but they are there. Equestrian trails, and then the large private equestrian facilities that we have in Milton. We have a lot of community support about our green spaces, financially and just verbally. And then my time and my expertise, as well as other staff that would be engaged in any of the outdoor programming. Some of the things that go along with the strengths, those bodies of water right now are not boatable, meaning non-motorized boats, kayaks, paddleboards, anything of the sort, canoes that we'd want to put on the water. We also have really limited infrastructure in some of our parks. As you know, taking kids to parks without bathrooms is a challenge. Or really, most of us are not interested in spending long hours in a park without a bathroom, but also buildings. So having shade from the elements, having a facility that you can operate out of that will have cover during storms or weather. And then parking's really limited in a lot of our green spaces. And then the green space in itself with the green print is right now it has limiting factors as to what we can do on those properties in terms of programming. Opportunities for the future. We want to continue to upgrade our trail system. We want to create infrastructure there. We want it to be well marked and safe for the community to use. We also want to build more spaces that we can do programming in, right? So that would go back to the infrastructure, some of our weaknesses, and then opportunities to grow our park system. So we have green spaces, we have passive parks, we have active parks. Outdoor programming can go in any one of those 3. So we could put infrastructure in Bell and it would, examples, archery ranges, low ropes course, a fishing program. We could dredge some of our bodies of water so that they're boatable. So these are options for the future, not to say they will happen. And then creating partnerships. So opportunities for us to partner with local businesses, a bike business, a archery business, an angler business, fishing, to give them opportunities to reach the community. Along with that, some of the threats that go with what we're doing is it's new, so a lot of people are familiar with pickleball, they're familiar with lacrosse or familiar with the athletics that we provide, or arts and dance. Outdoor programming is a new concept for some people. So being able to articulate that well and meet the needs of what they're looking for. The other thing is finding providers to be able to offer these opportunities. So if we have archery, who will be our archery instructor? If we have fishing, who would be our angler? Okay, I like that. Hand up. Put that in the meeting minutes, please.
By Archer.
That's
Oh, you have to be
right.
certified.
Oh, okay, yeah. So this is kind of what we're working with. It's beginning phases, and I really think there was a lot of valuable information. Of course, I'm in the parks, so verbally people stop me and email me, text me, looking for really creative ideas. I have meetings with scout groups all the time. I just had one today, and they're from Roswell, and they said, we want to come to Milton. What can we do there in your parks? What can my troop do? So I think it's there. We just have to build what will be.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any questions?
Or feedback.
Yeah, or feedback. Feedback is welcome.
You know, one thing that, since we've got a lot of parks now, and we have a lot of space that is not being monitored, is safety becoming a conversation that we should start having, or you guys having on staff? Just because even the one that I live near, MCC, that's a big property. I know a lot of people are out there running. We don't let our kids go out there by themselves now because it's just, I mean, only 14. I mean, it just feels a little weird. But, is that something that's being discussed? Because even Bell, you never know. You think your kids are safe because you're there at the park and they're walking the trail. But, is that something that we'll discuss at some point?
Yes, I have constant conversations. In fact, I go to lunch every other week with the chief of
Mhm.
police, and we do talk about the passive parks and how we can get more presence there. The PSAs are now running through all the parks a lot more. Jen knows because she gets reports just about every day from them on things they find. So
They really are out there.
yeah,
And
and that's our biggest
Mhm.
that's our biggest way of getting eyes on those parks.
Yeah.
The PSAs and the officers.
I have seen them at Bell a lot more.
Yeah, yeah, and they should be hitting your trail as well at MCPP.
Yeah.
The Providence Park and Birmingham. That's part of their regular routine now. Is going several times a day and week checking the parks.
Okay.
For that exact reason, honestly, to make those park goers feel safer and actually be safer.
Right.
That should help deter activity that we don't want, having their presence there more often. So that is something that chief is, it's high on the list, as a matter of fact.
Good.
It's not just on the list, it's high on the list.
Good. First of all, I commend you for doing the survey, right? Because it informs you. Now you've got data,
Yeah.
right? Now you can prioritize your activities. I look at this and I see this almost as step one. I want to see step two,
Yeah.
because now that you've got the date there, the top 10 activities, my only suggestion to you and the others is ruthlessly prioritize. Don't try to, do all of this at once. If those top 3 things are the most important things to the citizens of Milton, go make that the most enjoyable experience. Check those 3 off the list and then keep working your way down, right? So that's all I'd encourage you. You got great data, you got great information, you got great feedback. Use that to prioritize your initiatives and make it best in class. So great job with that.
Best in class.
Any other questions, comments?
No, I think this is great.
Yeah, I think the youth would love it for programming. I mean, my little guy did Camp Chucker Farm over the summer, right?
Mhm.
Just over the border. And they did all these things, fishing, archery, hiking, and he loved it. And it was not like it was simple, but
Mhm.
he loved it. Tons of kids. So to be able to do that and offer that in our community would be really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like this is one of those genres of programming that it just needs to get out there and the word needs to start swirling like, oh, there's really fun stuff to do. That's
Mhm.
not your typical sports or arts. It's being outside and educational opportunities or, tree climbing or whatever it may be. And just the word that, and it's good and it's fun, and then from there, I think it will take off.
Mhm.
It really will. Because
Was
then,
tree
'cause then
climbing
they'll
on
start
there?
being interested in all the other opportunities as well.
So
Was tree
tree climbing is an option, tree rock climbing. I'm gonna speculate. This is a deep speculation. Tree climbing is really new to people's brains. Rock climbing is not. Tree climbing is similar to what you'd see with tree climbers that trim your trees, except for it's recreational. And it's really taken off. And Georgia is a great state for it because it has these beautiful oaks. I love the one at the library. It's the most beautiful oak in the world. So, yeah, we've been keeping our eye really peeled all over Milton. Like, if we can find the right tree, we have a tree climbing instructor.
This sounds
It's
really
neat.
silly, but all I think about is Sound of Music when the kids are climbing in the
Except they're roped up in this one.
Can you go back to the
Okay,
slide
Brian.
with the parks?
Yeah.
I was actually surprised that Providence exceeded that of Birmingham Park.
Hmm.
But then as I thought about it, given the proximity where it is, it maybe just be easier to access. And the trail, I mean, you guys have done a wonderful job with that park. It's,
You have a bathroom too.
and there's a
I was
bathroom,
about
yeah.
to say, we have our resident keeper of the park, Charlie Lancelot, who lives he's literally the house right next door.
Yeah.
And he is in the park every day with his dogs. And he said since the bathrooms got dropped, traffic has exponentially increased through that park. And the visitation has been so much more. He's like, so many more people. There's kids now on this, parents pushing kids in the stroller on the ADA trail now.
Yeah.
And so it's just more appealing to more people because you could take your kids down to the pier. whereas
And they
before,
really
it was
fish.
It was
Yeah.
it wasn't a long hike, but it was
I watched
a hike
them do
through the
it.
woods. I mean,
Yeah.
who wants to take their 3-year-old on a hike through the woods, maybe without a bathroom, with just porta johns. So that probably speaks to why this number is so high. I bet if we did this survey 2 years ago, it would have been much lower down the list.
You're right. I agree. Well, it just speaks to the work that you guys put into it. It's a great park and it's getting utilized. That's fantastic. All right. Any other comments, questions? Great report.
Thank you, guys.
Is there anything else you're looking for out of this, Jen?
Out of this report?
Mhm.
No, I think it was to guide us as we start looking at a long-range plan. There will be infrastructure that's needed for the parks. Like I said, possibly bathrooms, climbing abilities. We may have to reconstruct an area that could be for bikes. So as we're looking long range, we'll have to set some priorities, go back to those master plans and decide, okay, we have a person who can do the programming for the things that were on this list. Do we want to reprioritize? I think that would be helpful for me. But there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that we can kick out the door now, like a summer camp. We have a potential partner that would be interested in running an outdoor summer camp for us, which would be really neat. Yeah, it would be really neat. And the kids would get to travel and do Milton and other places. So we're hoping that comes to fruition for 2024.
Is there any way you could put a walking thing at Legacy? I don't know if there's any space, but just curious.
It
Oh,
depends
like-
what we end up doing with the parking lot too.
Yeah.
But like a trail.
No, just literally like walk around while the kids are playing. You can walk around all the fields, something, I don't know. That's a pretty good distance.
Yeah, that's
but-
weird because you have that
There's
watershed.
There's the
Yeah,
one
That's right, over
corner
on the, yeah, that's right.
in the bottom corner of field 3, which would be the southeast corner.
Yeah,
That would be challenging because we're pretty close to the edge of the property line. We've thought about doing a trail around the little detention pond
uh-huh.
to get to the backside of field 3 over there. And you could definitely walk from the building around field 2
and
back
loop
to
around.
field 3 probably, but then the terrain starts getting real funky and
Yeah,
There's not a whole
Too
lot
bad,
of
that's
land,
because
city land back
There's a
there.
lot of activity there. So we're just waiting when the kids are,
I know,
we're just sitting in the parking lot.
parking.
Yeah. While they're sweating,
There
we're
you
just
go.
listening to music.
Huh?
They're sweating, we're just listening to music.
All right, that takes care of new business. We'll move on to item 9A, update on summer repairs at Bell Memorial.
Let me get back to the. Okay, we are entering into the fall season for baseball, and this primarily covers baseball. We did just recently finish what I'm now calling the first phase. We went into this summer rest period and tried something new that didn't work that great. We tried kind of saving some sod on some fields that we were going to clean up, like from the infields, and try to replant it in some other areas that are less used on the sides. And it didn't really come in that well. So I've ordered 4 pallets of sod that are going to go in, but we're not adding any sod to any playing surface that the kids are actually playing on. It's the stuff in foul territories. But outside of that, the fields, the infields have been reshaped, tightened up. Generally, they look good, and we're ready for the season. I was out there this morning, and they were cutting grass. It was starting to look real sharp. So we're ready to go for the season, and I just wanted to give that update. Really.
Good.
Any questions on that?
There was only that, I should have told you about a month ago, where the boys lacrosse red portion of their crease was coming up. I'll go back out there, and if it's still that way, I'll send it to you. I forgot to tell you.
Okay.
I should have told you. I forgot to tell you.
Yeah, the crew out at the park might have caught it. I
It
don't
might have.
know.
It might be already fixed.
But if it's not, just send me a
Yeah.
message. We'll get it fixed.
And then I did
Go
notice
to it.
the first field where the pickup is. Is that where you're talking about while redoing some sod? I noticed that where the gate opens in and out, it looked like there's some wear.
That's one of the spots.
Okay. Yeah.
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 All right.
I think the park looks great though,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thanks.
especially the painting. Was that last year?
Of the score stands?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was this past winter,
Spring, winter.
spring.
They
Yeah.
look so much better.
And we have in the budget next year to have all of the structures painted up Bill. So it'll
Yeah.
all be fresh because there's a lot of fading areas and the areas that hit and get a lot of sun. The
Has there
paint's
been
on-
any work on the fences, the lower end? the
Yeah,
hang?
constant battle.
Okay.
But yes, I was there this morning and it's starting to curl. So
Okay.
we actually have another game plan for addressing the fences, potentially utilizing some volunteer groups, but also having a different material to strap the fence to.
Yeah.
We got those big, they're supposed to hold like 150-pound zip ties, but they're still popping over time. I think it's just from the constant, balls hitting it or
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
So we're going to go next level,
Okay.
get some metal ties and see if that takes care of it. But yeah, it's on the radar. In fact, we talked about it this morning.
All right.
And really,
nine-
legacy is a bigger priority than Bell when it comes to that right now.
Because you lose, yeah.
Yeah.
they're really-
Oh, yeah.
All right, 9B, community outreach.
That one's also me. It's a lighter update for today, but Emily Salerno, she had the equestrian committee last night, so I made sure she didn't need to come tonight. I just got a download from her. We have event-wise, we have a new Touch a Truck event next month on the 9th of September. It is, I think it's going to be a big event. We've got a lot of different types of trucks, from junk lugger trucks to the SWAT truck to fire trucks. We've got Triscapes. Our contractors are bringing a couple of heavy machinery things. I don't know what exactly they are. I think they're still kind of hashing out what's going to be available that weekend. They might have a job come up and they have to switch things around, but they're going to bring some of their cool heavy equipment. Lots of vendors, a lot of sponsors. It's really, she's made it something more than I ever had imagined when I brought up the idea of doing a Touch a Truck. And the partnership with Stone Creek Church, as far as them allowing us to use their space. They're going to open up their zip line to pre-registrations, so they can get the waivers signed up and everything else, and then you can do the zip line. We're going to have food. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Is Stone Creek the one that's right next to the
Fire Station 44.
fire station
Yeah.
and police
What's the
station?
Public
date?
safety, yeah. What's that?
Date,
September 9th.
number 9th.
Yeah.
Anything
Then
else?
we've got Carbon and Crab Apple coming up in October. That'll be the next event after that. And then I figured the next month we can do the reports on, what's coming up for the holidays. The Carbon and Crab Apple, she's also turning that from a rather small event, and she's trying to make it a little bigger, get more of the kiddos to come. And she wants to turn it more of a small fall festival kind of feel. And we're going to invite our program providers to bring like a game, to do like a little carnival kind of feel games that they can do. And that helps promote our programs too. Potentially like shutting down the road, kind of like what we do on the 4th of July parade, just in front, and do a little bit more rather than just pumpkin bowling, carve a pumpkin and leave. So Emily's bringing a lot when it
The
comes
date
to,
on that one?
I don't have it handy.
Okay, that's good.
It's the weekend, it's the Sunday before Halloween.
And when's Crab Apple
It's
Festival?
like October 21st-ish,
22nd.
second.
Well, or is it the Sunday right before, not 2 days before Halloween?
Oh, yeah, it is. It's the 22nd. That's correct.
And when is the Crab Apple Festival?
That is October 7th.
Okay. Good. Tom, anything else on community outreach?
Yes, I do. I have more. Our financial aid program that has been around now for over a year, we have gaining traction. We do have families that have been accepted to the program, and we've got kids in our programs through the financial aid. So I'm really happy to see that, because we know they're out there. We just got to reach them, and
Yeah.
so we're getting traction there, which is great. And the last is she's really getting more involved with the schools, especially the elementary schools. And she's sitting down and seeing how the city can help the school and what they can do to help us. So if there's anyone that's got good contacts with PTAs at any of our elementary schools, or, we're happy to take anything you got. We've met with several schools, and we're still kind of scheduling meetings with a couple more.
Mhm.
But overwhelmingly, it's been great. We're going to do a drop off in the morning for parent drop off, and we're going to be able to greet the kids and get them out of the cars, and might have some informational things for them. But it'll be a fun morning.
Have you heard of the backpack program they do at the elementary schools?
Tell me more.
They, usually the Rotaries and some other people, have you seen this? Where they bring in backpacks, they're anonymous so that they look like regular backpacks. They're actually filled with food. The people of the schools know who to give them to, so that they don't have to feel weird about getting something. Most of the elementary schools are doing it, so I'm sure there are people that would be interested in the financial aid part of
Yeah.
it.
I know.
Yeah. And I don't remember all the principals' names, but we can get that to you if you want a list.
Oh, I've got the principals.
Oh, you do it, yeah.
I'm good with the principals.
Yeah.
But we want to try to get into the PTAs too.
Yeah.
So, and I know those principals might be able to help us with that as well, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I can get you crab apples.
Anything else on outreach?
no, Mr. Vice Chair, that is it.
That's great.
Thanks, Tom. Great update. We'll move on to 9C, discussion on fall athletic program field allocation.
Yeah, so I'll take this one. I believe in January, our meeting that was, or excuse me, July, our meeting that was canceled, this was unfinished business. But since then, it's come full circle. So I like to think that the field allocation and the scheduling is 99% done. But what we decided as a staff this year, this season, is to kind of get a little more control of the schedule, and then plug in those times and programs in to their desired parks and fields. Historically, our program partners have really taken the reins and done an excellent job in dividing the space. And it's always, very difficult to make every program, happy with their time slots. But we've done a good job, and they've done a good job. But we decided to be a little more hands-on and really look at the fields and the times and the availability through a bigger lens. And in doing so, we created our own grid. All of our programs refer to them as practice grids. It's in a spreadsheet. We divided our fields up, our turf fields, into 4 sections. Took requests from our lacrosse, from our baseball, from our football, our adult soccer. Got their needs on paper, their anticipated number of participants this fall, how many kids would be on a field at one time. We took all that information in, as well as their requests for days and times, and just started chipping away and adding, each program at a time. And I think we have accomplished our goal that we set out in maximizing these turf spaces. Not necessarily squeezing kids in, but the layout that we did it, we were able to see a lot of, we've just kind of called it white space. Those open time slots that they just kind of go forgotten about, or until you kind of look at it through that bigger lens, you didn't know that the space was available. So, I'm happy to say I think all of our programs, are very satisfied with their schedules and their fields. I think we had a couple folks give us some feedback from the initial schedule that we introduced, and we were able to swap a few things around, which in turn open up some more field space. So we've been able to take some of our programs off of the school fields like Northwestern that eventually, they don't have lights, so they'll run out of daylight. So they've got more opportunity over at Legacy now. They've got some more space after our football program ends on Field 1, which I don't think in seasons past in the fall, I think Field 1 was all football. And there was just some missed opportunities when they wrap up at 7:00 or 7:30. So we'll be able to shift some of our older kids onto that field. But yeah, just looking at it through a different lens and being a little more involved in this process, I think has been very beneficial to our athletics as a whole. So I don't know if Tom has anything to add, but I think it's something that we will continue to do. Just play a bigger role in designing those schedules.
great.
And that'll go across all platforms, including basketball and everything else as well.
Yeah. As Allison said earlier, I think everyone seems happy early on, and everyone seems happy. I don't know about football, but you guys have that on there. So
Football's doing great. They were the first to hit the field, and they've expanded over to Legacy this year. I know they didn't utilize the football field over there last year, but they're getting more than enough time over at Bell and Legacy as well. And of course, they're playing at North Park. So, and as we know, the program's growing. So everyone seems to be taken care of, and we didn't have to. I know we touched on it earlier. We didn't have to push our adults in any kind of direction or take time away from them. So we are sitting pretty for fall. We'll see how it continues to go.
do we have to do this again for spring?
Oh, yeah. The field allocation?
Well, obviously the field allocation, but are we going to have to set that meeting like we do each? Do we do that? I don't remember. We do
Yes.
that. We do that all the time. I'm
We
losing track.
used to only have to do it in the spring.
That's what I thought.
And
So this was the new one.
This is the new one
Okay.
because of the introduction of Legacy and the fact that football grew to the point where they needed to use Legacy.
Yeah.
And I will say that NAFL has been very fair
Yeah.
with what their needs are. I feel like Vaughn tried to open up space for the other sports at Legacy as much as he could. It's the feeling I got when I saw the schedule, knowing that there's so many kids and how many slots they really took at Legacy's Field 3. There's a lot of lacrosse on that field that we anticipated being for football, but he was very gracious to do the schedule. You know, he could have tried to scoop up more, spread things out. But when he came to us with the proposal, I think we moved a couple things around, and that was it. It was
Good.
buttoned up
Good.
and tight. So
You guys are optimizing the process. Nice job.
exactly.
All right. We'll move on to what is now 9D, review of Parks and Recreation month events.
Yes, so we did do a proclamation for Parks and Recreation Month in July, and it's a national recognized month, I guess. Hold on, I'm going to go switch over. Okay, here is a graphic of the schedule that we put together. And so every day, Monday through Friday, we had something to kind of highlight Parks and Recreation for July. On Mondays, we had something called Meet Milton Monday, where we highlighted volunteers in the community that, or contributors in the community that have done great things for parks. On Tuesdays, we had Trail Tour Tuesdays. Jen did guided hikes at several different parks on different varying times. On Wednesdays, we had something called Wellness Wednesday, where our health-minded programs, fitness or Tai Chi, where we have Bombay Jam, and did Emory Fit do stretch or they do boot camp? They did both. They did both, okay. So on Wednesdays, it was free classes. Great opportunity for our programs to get out there, and I know all those nights had participation. Thursdays was a throwback Thursday. We kind of highlighted a park, what it was 5 years ago and what it is now, or 10 years ago, depending. Bell Park we did, obviously 5 years ago, wouldn't go back far enough. But that was fun. That was fun, especially going back and trying to find some good old pictures of Providence Park, like before we really opened it. Public Works was able to dig up some really cool pictures of the old lodge that was there. So go back and look at that post. You can see some pretty cool stuff. And then Friday, we kind of reached out to the community and said, why don't you send us some pictures of you at the park? So this is something we did just to try to highlight the department and Parks and Recreation in general. I'm sure next year it will probably take another step in a wild direction, something different. We've got the minds in this department that can think way outside the box, but for a first year, this was awesome. We got a lot of feedback. We got a lot of good comments on Facebook, and we got a lot of participation in the little events that we put together. So we'll continue to do this every July, and that really concludes what we got going on here.
Great.
Any questions?
Excellent.
No, looks good.
And if you have any ideas for cool stuff, you can send it over to us.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tom. That brings us to item 10, other business. Tom, anything on yours or staff's end to add?
No, sir.
Anybody from a second? No? That will bring us to item 11. I will accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Jason,
I'll second that.
second by Allison. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Thanks, everybody.